the planes touch down on American soil with a weight that transcends their physical mass. From the thick glass windows of private terminals, top FIFA officials gaze out at the sprawling skylines of Los Angeles and Dallas. They are not here for sightseeing. They carry a silent ultimatum that has sent tremors through the NFL's executive offices. For decades, the United States has spent billions on sports cathedrals, monoliths of glass and plastic. But to the men in tailored suits representing the global game, these marvels possess a fatal flaw. They are built on a lie of plastic fibers and rubber. The tension is thick as inspectors enter these stadium lobbies, their presence a direct challenge to the foundation of American sports infrastructure. This is a declaration of war against the artificial. This represents the ultimate clash of titans, a collision between $2 billion empires. One side is the NFL, a juggernaut prioritizing synthetic turf durability. To an NFL owner, the field is a versatile stage that must survive concert stages, monster truck rallies, and a relentless daily schedule. Synthetic turf doesn't die or require expensive lighting. But on the other side sits FIFA, an empire that views synthetic turf as an unnatural insult to the purity of the beautiful game. To FIFA, the ball must roll with a certain rhythm, and the players' cleats must interact with the living earth. There is no room for compromise. The world's game requires the world's surface, living, breathing, natural grass. The resentment toward the carpet has been brewing in locker rooms for years. NFL superstars have long whispered about the curse of the plastic pitch, a surface that offers zero forgiveness to the human knee or delicate ligaments. League history is littered with careers cut short by the unforgiving grip of synthetic fibers. Players describe the experience as falling on a thin layer of sandpaper draped over solid concrete. While owners see a cheap solution that maximizes profit, the athletes see a ticking time bomb. This quiet resentment is now bubbling to the surface, as FIFA's rigid demands provide the leverage the players have always lacked to demand a safer work environment on the field. In the luxurious offices of Dallas and Los Angeles, Jerry Jones and Stan Kroenke are not used to being told how to manage their assets. These owners have built financial fortresses designed to generate revenue every hour of the day. AT&T Stadium and SoFi Stadium are marvels of modern engineering, costing billions as the pinnacle of luxury. To these owners, the utility of the stadium is its greatest asset, and the versatility of synthetic turf is the key to that utility. Switching to grass is not just buying sod, it is a logistical nightmare threatening their investment. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. This struggle is for control over the most valuable real estate on Earth. The clock is ticking toward the 2026 World Cup, and the deadline has become an inescapable pressure. FIFA has made its position clear. Any stadium that refuses to install a natural grass surface will be stripped of its hosting rights. This threat looms over cities that have promised their taxpayers the massive economic windfall of the world's global sporting event. However, the engineering challenge is staggering. How do you grow living grass inside a stadium like SoFi, where the roof is a fixed canopy designed to block the sunlight life requires? Or in the sun-starved interior of AT&T Stadium, where the air is recycled and the giant video board dominates the sky? It is an engineering nightmare. Just as the tension reaches a breaking point, a secret report has surfaced from a private FIFA testing lab. The leaked document suggests that the temporary grass solutions currently being proposed by American engineers are failing the most basic safety tests. The grass is suffocating before the second half begins, and the thin soil layers are dangerously sliding on the slick synthetic base beneath them. This sets the stage for a catastrophic failure on the world's biggest stage, a potential disaster that could ruin the integrity of the tournament before the opening whistle even blows, leaving the future of American stadiums hanging by a thread. Deep in the windowless corridors of these steel giants, a new kind of specialist has arrived. They are the grass masters, an elite brotherhood of agronomists who speak the language of soil and sunlight with scientific precision. These specialists are being paid astronomical sums to perform a miracle, keeping living, breathing organisms flourishing inside what are effectively concrete tombs. They walk the silent stadium floors in the dead of night, clutching moisture sensors and soil thermometers like holy relics. To them, Every blade of grass is a patient in an intensive care unit. They aren't just fighting nature. They are fighting the very architecture of American excess, battling recycled air and the artificial shadows cast by massive steel rafters. Away from the prying eyes of the media, the real battle is being fought in secret nurseries scattered across the American South. In the humid outskirts of Georgia and Tennessee, hidden plots of land have been transformed into high-stakes testing grounds for revolutionary hybrid grass technology. These are not your average lawns. These surfaces represent a high-tech marriage of synthetic reinforcement and natural roots, designed specifically to satisfy FIFA's obsessive standards for ball roll and player traction. Every bounce is measured by high-speed cameras, and every slide is analyzed for its impact on a player's joints. FIFA's inspectors demand a consistency that borders on the impossible, and the grass masters are experimenting with specialized strains of Bermuda grass that can survive in low-light environments, pushing botanical science to the absolute edge. While the scientists toil in the dirt, a different kind of war is raging in the executive suites. Jerry Jones and Stan Kroenke find themselves in a position they despise, being told exactly how to run their own houses. In private boardrooms, the air is thick with the scent of expensive leather and cold realization. This isn't just a disagreement over landscaping, it's a struggle for global dominance on American soil. FIFA's representatives sit across from these titans of industry, unyielding and clinical in their demands. The NFL owners see a foreign entity dictating the management of their multi-billion-dollar assets. FIFA, however, views this as a necessary cleansing of Americanized sports surfaces. It is a clash of cultures where the stakes are measured in international prestige and ultimate authority. Within the stadium operations teams, a sense of quiet betrayal lingers. For decades, these venues have been the proud cathedrals of American football, optimized for the violent, high-speed spectacle of the NFL. Now, traditionalists feel the weight of changing their iconic homes to suit an outsider's game. The sight of massive UV lighting rigs rolling onto the field where championship touchdowns were once celebrated feels like a slow-motion invasion. There is an internal conflict brewing between the technicians who have maintained these buildings for years and the FIFA inspectors who view the current synthetic infrastructure as a dangerous relic. The soul of the American stadium is being systematically reprogrammed, one blade of grass at a time. The financial toll of this transformation is equally staggering. It is not merely the cost of the sod itself, but the gargantuan life support systems required to sustain it. Millions of dollars are being poured into sophisticated ventilation systems designed to move air at specific speeds to prevent stagnant moisture from rotting the roots. Enormous UV lighting arrays must be craned into place every evening to simulate a sun that the stadium roofs were designed to block. Specialized irrigation systems that recycle water with surgical precision are being integrated into the existing plumbing. The hidden cost of keeping these fields green for just a few weeks is beginning to rival the original construction budgets of entire smaller arenas. As the transformation begins, high-profile NFL superstars are watching the arrival of natural grass with a mixture of hope and fury. If the technology exists to grow grass for a 3-week soccer tournament, they wonder, why has it not been there to protect their own careers? These athletes are beginning to leverage FIFA's demands to lobby for a permanent change, creating a public relations nightmare for owners. They are posting on social media, highlighting the hypocrisy of a league that claimed grass was too difficult to maintain for its own stars, but is now bending the knee to international soccer officials who demand nothing less than perfection. But just as the plans for the grass revolution seem to be moving forward, a shadow falls over the entire project. An anonymous whistleblower from the construction crews has come forward with a terrifying revelation. The structural foundations of several iconic stadiums were never designed to hold the immense weight of the necessary soil and drainage systems. The sheer volume of wet earth required to keep the grass healthy is pushing the load-bearing beams toward their breaking point. The miracle surface might just be heavy enough to bring the entire cathedral crashing down. The final inspection arrived with the cold, clinical precision of a high-stakes execution. As the FIFA officials stepped onto the floor of AT&T Stadium, the air was thick with the weight of the whistleblower's warning. Every step taken by the inspectors felt like a calculated probe into the structural integrity of the giant. They carried laser levels and moisture probes, moving across the surface with the detachment of coroners. Jerry Jones watched from his glass-enclosed perch, his face a mask of restrained frustration. This was his kingdom, yet he was now a player in someone else's game, forced to witness the systematic dismantling of his perfect industrial floor. The high-stakes gamble was no longer a theoretical debate. It was a physical reality as the inspection team signaled their final approval. The sound was something no one in the room would ever forget. It was the sound of millions of dollars being ripped apart, the screech of heavy machinery clawing at the synthetic turf that had been the pride of the NFL for decades. Large sections of the carpet were sliced, rolled, and hauled away like the remnants of a failed experiment. In its place, the grassmasters oversaw the arrival of the soil, a dark, rich medium that looked alien against the chrome and LED backdrops of the modern arena. The engineering nightmare had been met with a desperate, expensive solution. Specialized carbon fiber reinforcement beams were surreptitiously installed beneath the stadium's belly to support the massive weight of the new living floor. It was a victory of brute force engineering over architectural limitation. But as the lush green sod was rolled out, the secret reason for FIFA's uncompromising stance finally came to light. It was never just about the reduction of ACL tears or the physics of how a ball skidded across the surface. This was a calculated display of global dominance. By forcing the world's most powerful sports league to change the very foundation of its venues, FIFA was sending a clear message. Soccer is the ultimate authority. Natural grass is their brand signature, a mark of prestige that refuses to be compromised. In the world of international sports, grass is the green carpet of royalty, and by demanding it be installed in America's football cathedrals, FIFA was marking its territory, proving that the game does not adapt to the venue. The venue must adapt to the game. The transformation was visceral and immediate. The sterile plastic scent that usually defined these indoor spaces was replaced by the overwhelming, primal smell of damp earth and fresh-cut vegetation. The sensory experience of the stadium shifted from an industrial factory to a living, breathing ecosystem. Humidity levels rose as the grass exhaled, and the massive UV lighting rigs bathed the field in a surreal golden glow that mimicked a perpetual sunset. It was as if the stadium had finally found its soul. The industrial chill was gone, replaced by the organic warmth of a field that required constant care and respect, rather than just chemical cleaning. Stan Kroenke watched his Los Angeles masterpiece, SoFi Stadium, transform into a greenhouse, realizing the era of the maintenance-free stadium was over. For the NFL superstars watching from the sidelines, the site was a long-awaited redemption. This was the change they had spent years lobbying for, now finally realized because of an outside force. Seeing world-class players move across the natural surface with a confidence and fluidity that the synthetic carpet never allowed was a bittersweet victory. They saw the end of the career-ending turf toe era and the beginning of a future where human health was no longer traded for the convenience of multi-purpose scheduling. The grass effect was beginning to ripple through the league, creating a momentum that no owner could stop. The PR disaster had turned into a mandate for permanent change. As the 2026 World Cup approached, it became clear that this forced evolution would be the tournament's lasting legacy. The synthetic era was dying. The victory of the game's purity over industrial efficiency was total. When the opening whistle finally blew on that perfect field of natural green, the struggle was over. The game began not on a plastic stage, but on the earth itself. A silent promise that the beautiful game would always demand a surface as real as the passion of the players. The industrial cathedrals had become fields of dreams once again.